A single fistful of these dark, shriveled berries could once buy a family's freedom, pay off a lifetime debt, or save a city from being burned to the ground. Today it sits on every cheap diner table, free for the taking. We sprinkle it without thinking twice. But 2,000 years ago, men boarded wooden ships, sailed into ocean storms, and marched into rainforests just to bring back a few sacks of it. They didn't do it because pepper made food taste better. They did it because black pepper was the ancient world's most dangerous way to hide wealth. Unlike gold, pepper could be grown. Unlike grain, a single small bag carried the value of a small fortune. And if you knew how to harvest and dry it properly, it virtually never went bad. In the Roman Empire, if a noble family wanted to protect their fortune from political collapse, they filled underground vaults with black pepper. When the Visigoths marched on Rome in 408 AD, demanding a ransom to stop them from slaughtering the population, they demanded 3,000 pounds of black pepper. An invading army on the brink of total victory cared more about a dried berry than imperial treasure. So how did a tiny vine in the dense jungles of India end up holding the fate of empires in its balance? It starts on the Malabar coast. Black pepper wasn't grown in neat fields. It was a wild climbing vine that wrapped around massive tropical trees, scaling 50 feet into the air. To harvest it, ancient farmers constructed rickety bamboo ladders that reached up into the canopy during monsoon season. One slip on a moss-covered trunk, and a farmer fell 50 feet to the mud below. Break a leg, and your family went hungry for the season. That wasn't even the hardest part. The vine produced green berries that had to be picked at an exact window, just as the bottom berries turned slightly red. Pick too early, and the berry lacked heat. Pick too late, and the entire cluster rotted on the vine within hours. And once picked, a new race against time began. In southern India's humidity, fresh berries mold in days. To turn them into non-perishable currency, farmers plunged green berries into boiling water for mere seconds to rupture the cellular walls, then spread them under the baking tropical sun. If rain hit the drying mats during those critical 48 hours, an entire year's income rotted into useless mush. Get it right, though, and the berry shriveled into a dense sphere that could sit in a dry chest for 20 years without losing its potency. Because it was so valuable, the people who grew it faced a constant threat. Families stood guard over the drying floors with spears and bows day and night, watching for raiders who could strip a season's wealth in 5 minutes. Yet across the Arabian Sea, merchant empires were watching. Arabian traders wanted to keep the source a secret to charge European markets astronomical prices. They spread terrifying rumors across the Mediterranean. They claimed black pepper grew only in secret forests, guarded by swarms of venomous, winged serpents. They claimed the only way to harvest it was to set the forests on fire to drive the snakes underground, and that the heat scorched the green berries black. Romans actually believed this. They paid thousands of silver denarii for a sack of scorched berries, believing sailors risked death by flying snakes. It was history's most successful disinformation campaign, designed to justify a 3,000% markup. Then, around the 1st century AD, a Greek navigator named Eudoxus figured out the secret. He realized seasonal monsoon winds could blow a ship straight across the ocean to India in 40 days and flip in winter to blow them safely back. The secret was out. Rome sent hundreds of armed ships across the Indian Ocean every year. Pliny the Elder recorded that Rome lost over 50 million sesterces of pure silver annually to India for black pepper, complaining that Rome was going bankrupt for a luxury item with no nutritional value. It was an ancient trade deficit so severe It drained the Roman treasury dry. When you look at a pepper shaker today, you aren't looking at a simple condiment. You're looking at the ultimate ancient survival tool, a crop that forced farmers to risk their lives scaling jungle canopies, caused merchants to invent mythical monsters, and drained the wealth of the Roman Empire. We didn't tame black pepper because it made our food taste better. We risked everything for it because it was the one thing on earth that allowed us to hold fortune in the palm of our hand.